Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Josh Averton. I'm one of the faculty members in the Kirkland Ellis corporate lab. The other faculty member, David Zarvis, is on a call that I will have to jump to after. And I'm joined today by Lauren Dunn and Rebecca Chong, who are two of our students, our 3L student directors in the lab. So here, Price Figuarelli Reed was supposed to join us as well, but he is feeling under the weather. So just a little bit briefly about Corporate Lab, who we are, what we do. We're a little different today. We got sandwiched public interest, and then doing the Lord's work, helping corporations in the middle. So we are a clinic that's focused on corporate regulatory compliance and transactional work. We work with large multinational corporations, mostly Fortune 500 corporations, to some startups. I'll speak a little bit about the New Venture Challenge in a moment, and some nonprofits. Currently, in the nonprofit realm, we are working with local literacy project, which works with getting finances to schools in war-torn regions of Afghanistan. Previously, we've worked doing the corporate formation documents for Richard Posner's startup while that was in operation in Lincoln Center in New York. So our students work in teams. We try to mirror and mimic the real world experience working in a law firm that our students will have after graduation. So they typically work in teams of about 5 students with about 5 clients. Because we have such a large roster of clients, we're able to sort of divide them up so that students get a little bit of large corporations, some small corporations, some startup work, and also some nonprofit work when that's available. The typical life cycle of our project is, something arises in the real world from the legal departments of one of our clients. They jump on a call with our students. Our students handle from start to finish the intake through following up, asking clarifying questions after the call if someone's needed, and then drafting a deliverable. Our deliverables can really take the shape of many different forms, as you'll see is the case when you're in practice. It can be as much as a 20-page memo to some PowerPoint slides. It depends on who the audience is, and it's important to always kind of feel that out when you are doing corporate work in the real world. We've done work for clients ranging from the Supreme Court of Korea, our eyes intended for the Supreme Court of Korea. We wrote a brief on behalf of one of our clients for that, to board presentations to the board of large corporations, which tend to be short PowerPoints because board members have little precious time, to Excel sheets with 50 state surveys comparing laws across jurisdictions, to just plain vanilla memos. We also try to solicit from our clients as best we can contract drafting work. Again, it's all real world, organically arising work, so we can't force them to give us contracts, but we do find it very valuable. You go through 1L year, at least when I went through 1L year, and when I was in your shoes, I took contract law and I never saw a contract the entire year. And then I went to my summer job and I was asked to draft something very brief. And it struck me that I had no idea what that should look like. We want our students to come out of this with a leg up on their peers when they go to law firms or summer jobs, whatever they might be. So we try to get you the widest range of work product possible. So here are some examples of our current and past clients. We're currently doing work for Victoria's Secret, Sony, Verizon, Nike, 3M, Ulta Beauty, Accenture, and in the spring quarter, we worked with the New Venture Challenge. The New Venture Challenge is a Booth and Polsky Center initiative. It's kind of like a Y Combinator meets Shark Tank. Any Booth students can put together a business proposal and come up with a company. We help with all the incorporation documents, employment agreements, NDAs, all of the sort of basic documents that you might expect for a startup to need. This is typically very contract drafting intensive for people who are interested in that. The students then have the opportunity to sit in with these booth teams in pitch meetings and help them prepare PowerPoint decks and revise their business plans and advise them of any potential legal issues that they might anticipate with respect to these business plans. The students then can also sit in. Booth offers classes on sort of how to build a startup 101-ish. Our students are welcome to peer behind the curtain and sit with their teams on that. And then they can join their teams on pitch day where they're pitching to potential investors. And the winner of the New Venture Challenge receives grant money. I think it's about $500,000 to start their business. So it's a really exciting opportunity for our students to get in on the ground floor of startup world. So who's a good fit? I personally was in the clinic when I was a student. I found it to be the most valuable thing I did for my career. After graduation, I worked at Sidley and Goodwin Procter doing debt finance, and I was in-house at Groupon where I did securities and M&A work. I knew I wanted to do something transactional, and this gave me my first foot in the door to transactional practice. There's also, a good fit for future litigators. So this is to say everybody can join the clinic. Litigation doesn't occur in a vacuum. It's based off of a business, corporate litigation is based on something that went wrong in a business relationship. That might be, based on emails or changes in laws, or mostly a contract that is breaking down. And it's important to have some sort of fluency in, contract, being able to read and review contracts and converse with clients and advise them of, what steps are potentially in litigation. We've also done written portions of briefs for clients where, they've been able to break off discrete portions of litigation questions that our students have researched and written about. So there's a great breadth of work. You get client interaction just from the start, and you get a lot of soft skills. When I was a student, I came straight through from undergrad, and I think this is not just true for my clinic, it's true for every clinic. But it was very important for me to work on and hone my client development skills, my client interaction skills, leading conference calls, writing succinct emails. These were all things that I didn't have the opportunity to do when I was in college, and this was a great first step for me. If you want to work at a firm or in-house, you'll gain indispensable knowledge with respect to those areas. And if you wanted to clerk or do public service, you at least will then have ruled out that you don't want to work for corporations, frankly, but you will be writing memoranda, so you'll gain important research and writing skills as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Lauren and Rebecca for a moment to talk about some of the projects that they have worked on in their past 2 years in the clinic.
So as far as types of projects we've done, it really varies. Josh talked a lot about some of the different projects, but they range from memos on really timely topics like California data privacy laws. Those are all changing right now, and they're really impactful to our companies. Everything from that to a slide deck presentation that we present to the entire in-house council of a huge company like Kiria or something like that. We also, as Josh talked about, work with startups, and that's often a lot more contract work, which is really fun. It's something you don't really get a chance to do in other classes. You get a lot of chances to write, you get a little bit less to draft contracts and redline them. And so that's been a really great experience. What else? Rebecca can talk to you a little bit more about negotiations. That's an exercise we do.
Yeah, just to echo that, I am someone who is 95% sure I want to be a litigator, and at the same time, this clinic has been such a memorable experience for me. And I think the biggest pull for this clinic is that you get to really work on a wide variety of projects, as Josh and Lauren said. So, in my time in the clinic, I've done everything from a 50-state survey on different unauthorized practice of law, insurance-related research. I've drafted several contracts, non-disclosure agreements for startups. We've done a lot of research memos on a lot of various questions, anything from, we're doing a lot of AI related research, data privacy in different countries. What else? We just did a big presentation on ESG compliance work for Victoria's Secret last week for their entire compliance team. So it's a really great way for you to get exposure to a lot of different teams and a lot of different legal issues. And then what Lauren was alluding to is that we also have a lot of extracurricular, activities within the clinic. So one thing that we do at least once or twice a year is we do a negotiation exercise with Tel Aviv University in Israel, where one side plays supplier, one side plays buyer, and we go through an RFP, an amazing experience just because you get to see what the negotiation exercise is like in the real world. You're getting supervision from our professors right as the negotiation is happening. And also you get to experience different cross-cultural differences in the way that people negotiate and discuss things because they're in a different country. So yeah, those are just a very, very brief summary of the broad assignments that we have in there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the other benefits that being in the corporate lab provides. opportunities for leadership. Rebecca and I have both been leaders of the corporate lab this year, and we're students in it last year. And I can say it's the most helpful experience I've had. I've gotten to make a lot of great friends, but also just gain incredible skills. I went into my summer job being like ahead of the curve, and I also got to do things that I won't even get to do in a firm until I'm the second or third year. So not only are you like prepared for it, you're ahead of the game. So I really appreciated that, because going into your summer job is kind of daunting. So this was a great experience. Another benefit is networking. A big part of what we do is we get to work directly with these clients. You're talking to the head GC of, IBM or something like that. And these are great people to know and get to work with directly. On top of that, we do a corporate lab speaker series, and that's where we bring in a bunch of different speakers on a wide variety of topics, anywhere from bankruptcy and other timely issues to, what is it like to move in-house and more practical personal things. So those are just a handful of the benefits, but as people have said before, we're really happy to answer questions after this. Just send us.
Yeah, and just to add on the networking component, I mean, we've had, at least since I've been here, I think 2 or 3 of our students have gone directly to work in-house for our clients after graduation, which is really wonderful to see. I'll just speak for one moment about my favorite project that we've worked on in the past couple of years, and this is, I alluded to before, and then I will wrap up. We delivered a brief to the Supreme Court of Korea on behalf of one of our clients. There was an issue. Our client has a subsidiary in Korea. There was a license agreement governed by Illinois law because that's where the parent company was based. And there was a fascinating situation where there's this natural gas refining technology that they own as a trade secret that they licensed to another company to build a plant in Korea. They were in negotiations to build a second plant and use the same license for the second plant. Negotiations fell through, and the other company said, you know what, screw it, we have the plans already, we're just going to build off the existing plans. They then were not able to obtain an injunction, preliminary injunction, just because of, I don't know, the machinations of the Korean judicial system, but they were able to get this plant going pretty quickly and were fairly successful at first in arguing that because they were employing thousands of people, they should be able to force a license upon our client. We've delivered several 20 to 30 page briefs on behalf of our client, and we obtained a pretty favorable result there. So that was something that I'm pretty proud of. So again, here's our contact information. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Look forward to working with all of you.